Welcome to Fan for Racing Radio. We are back again, this time for the weekend of Atlanta Motor Speedway Racing. And we want to welcome everybody to Fan for Racing Radio. And also, I'm Sharon, otherwise known as Fan for Racing. And joining me today is Jay. Welcome to the show, Jay.
Thank you, Sharon. Getting excited now. We're getting into the meat of the season. I know Atlanta is still another super speedway style racing, but this is really where we get into the meat of the season and see how everybody sorts themselves out.
Absolutely, and I'm really looking forward to this one. It's even though it's a 1.5 mile track, it's another fast track. A lot of people consider it a smaller super speedway, if you will.
Yeah, when they reconfigured it and repaved it, it became kind of, like I said, and that's why I call it the super speedway style. Like you mentioned, it's still a 1.5 mile, but it is very fast, and they've kind of adapted some of the same strategies when it comes to drafting, but it's still a 1.5 mile, so we'll see how it plays out.
We'll see how that plays out. Okay, before we get into the preview that we're going to be doing here today, I do want to let everybody know there's some things that you need to be aware of on the schedule this week. First of all, I've got it up at fanforracing.com. And if you want to go there, you'll see that I've got the Atlanta schedule up already. But just to make sure we cover it here on the show as well, the Cup Series qualifying will be tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Xfinity Series qualifying is at 5 p.m. Now, the Truck Series, of course, their home is Fox Sports 1, so that's where you'll see that. For qualifying, it's the CW app that you'll be able to see the qualifying. Then going into Saturday, the 22nd, you have Cup Series qualifying. And Jay, that's going to be on Amazon Prime at 11 a.m. Eastern on Saturday. So if you don't have Amazon Prime, you won't be able to see it. But if you do, you will. Now, the Truck Series race will be again on Fox Sports 1, MRN, and SiriusXM at 1:30 p.m. Eastern on Saturday. The Xfinity Series race, on in addition to CW, is on PRN, SiriusXM, and that's at 5. Then Sunday's race, the Cup Series race, will be on Fox, on PRN, SiriusXM, and that's at 3. And those are all Eastern times that I'm giving you. So that's kind of the schedule for this week.
Well, I know Amazon's kind of getting their feet wet as they get ready to pick up some races later in the season. So we'll see how that goes. Again, it's CW. You can find all the Xfinity Series. And then FS1 has pretty much carried the Truck Series for several years. So it kind of sorting itself out there. I know Fox, this part of the year, Fox Sports, carrying it. That one's still got some options as to where to find it. But appreciate you sharing all that, Sharon.
Okay. Again, the little caveats there that I want to make sure everyone was aware of. Let's go ahead and get into our Truck Series race. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race is racing the Freight 208 at Atlanta Motor Speedway. Now, the track itself is 1.54 miles. It's an asphalt oval. It'll be Saturday, as I mentioned, starting at 1:30. And actually, the distance of that race is 207.9 miles. It's 135 laps. Stage 1 and Stage 2 are both 30 laps each. So Stage 1 ending on lap 30, Stage 2 on lap 60. The final stage is going to be 115 laps, and that will end on lap 135. So some interesting things there for the stages this time around.
Well, I think one of the biggest things when we look at the Atlanta storylines or insights is Kyle Busch, as he's back. His schedule is going to be with Spire Motorsports number 7 Chevrolet for 2025. He's going to race at Atlanta, Charlotte, North Wilkesboro, Nashville, and Watkins Glen. I know some fans are against it. I'm always excited to see Kyle Busch in the Truck Series.
And you know what? The drivers are too. They love learning from Kyle. Kyle Busch leads the Craftsman Truck Series with wins. He has 66 wins. That's a winning percentage of 38%. And he has 7 Truck Series wins at Atlanta, including just last year. He's the defending winner there. So you see why the Truck Series drivers like it when Kyle Busch is there, because they learn a lot from him.
And we look at Daniel Dye. He's looking to rebound after finishing last at Daytona. He became the 6th Craftsman Truck Series driver to win their first career truck pole at Atlanta, as he joined Christopher Bell in 2017, Ben Kennedy in 15, Ricky Carmichael in 2015 as well, and then Todd Bodine back in 2006 and David Rudiman in 2004.
That's amazing. Now, 3 different drivers have won the last 3 Craftsman Truck Series races. So you got to wonder if we're going to get a 4th different winner this year. And that's since their redesign of the track. Now, Corey Heim won in 22. It was Christian Eckes in 23. And we've already mentioned that Kyle Busch won there last year. So who's going to do it this year? I suspect it might be Kyle.
Well, I certainly think it's going to come through him, and it could become at the very end, as that final lead change has come with 7 laps or fewer in the track's 3 different drafting races.
Now, the last 8 drafting track races were won by different drivers as well. Corey Heim is the most recent winner, and of course, that was at Daytona.
And Georgia native Corey Heim is also the youngest driver to reach 12 wins after he was awarded the win in Daytona at 22 years old. Now, Heim has not got more than 4 races without a win since his first win of 2024 at COTA. Throw a note in there. I believe tomorrow is the hearing for Henderson Motorsports and Parker Kligerman for that team, as they have appealed. That is tomorrow.
Yeah, so look for news on that tomorrow. All right, now with the win this weekend, Corey Heim could become the 4th different driver to win the first 2 races of the Truck Series season. If he does that, he would join Ben Rhodes, who did that in 2021, Johnny Sauter in 2013, and Mark Martin going all the way back to 2006.
Now, currently, Grant Enfinger with 2 races is the only active driver with a current top 10 streak on drafting tracks. So we know that they can produce some erratic finishes. So he's the only one with a top 10 streak right now.
Wow, that's incredible. I always like talking about Matt Crafton, the longest tenured driver in the NASCAR Truck Series. He won stage 2 at Daytona. It was his first stage win since Atlanta in March of 2023. So maybe we'll see him win some stages this week.
Another note, Gio Ruggiero became the 4th different driver to finish in the top 2 in their series debut among drivers who didn't have a prior start in a higher NASCAR series. And he joins Kyle Benjamin, who did it in 2018, Bobby Pierce, who's a late model driver under dirt track. He did it in 2015, and then Kurt Busch back in 2000.
Okay, speaking of Gio Ruggiero, he leads the Truck Series rookie standings by 9 points over the closest competitor, Frankie Muniz, following Daytona. So congratulations to Gio. A lot of people were impressed with him racing last week.
He did. He put on a heck of a show, and here again, the Truck Series isn't as deep when it comes to the rookie, but I think we're going to see a good battle from them throughout the year. Now, if you're looking for a home state favorite, we got 3 drivers from Georgia entered in the truck race this weekend. Corey Heim is from Marietta, Jake Garcia is from Monroe, and Chandler Smith is from Talking Rock.
All right. I love it when they win at their home state track. That's a pretty good deal. All right. 17 or more lead changes have occurred in each of the 3 Atlanta drafting races from 2022 to 24. So we'll see how many lead changes they have this week. I just hope the weather is good this weekend.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a little chilly. I know they projected, but I don't know as far as the rain forecast. Hopefully it does turn out nice. I know this time of year, as I've mentioned, when it comes to our races here in Mississippi, March can be kind of a hit or miss.
Yes, and it's you just never know what to expect. And with the cooler weather, it's going to give the drivers a different feel on the track.
There was some talk about that as far as whether or not they could go full throttle, all open. I don't remember who the driver being interviewed, but they were talking about that, of whether or not Atlanta you can hold it wide open. And they said that comes down to the temperatures, the performance of the engine when the temperatures are a little bit chillier. And then it goes back to the drafting style track, whether you're out front or in the pack, and you don't quite go wide open if you're a little further back in the pack.
That's true. And if you notice with the schedule, I didn't see any practice sessions on the schedule this week. So they're only going to have qualifying to kind of test out their car. And the qualifying setup is so different from the race setup. So that's going to be interesting to watch how that plays out as well.
Yeah, I don't have the full schedule, or I don't even know if NASCAR has one out or it's been a while since I've seen it. There's not going to be a lot of practice sessions throughout the year. Daytona was an exception for several different reasons. But all the series, they've scaled back on that. And I don't think it's a bad thing. There are a couple of points being made as far as rookies who don't get the testing time and track time then. But overall, I think it's been great that they don't have practice. I'm a fan. If they have it, I'm watching it and I enjoy it. But I understand from the cost side, that's one of the areas NASCAR said we're going to help try and cut back on cost.
Okay, so that's good to know.
All right, the Performance Racing Network the PRN is thrilled to announce that they will be the exclusive streaming home of Trackside Live, which is a high energy show featuring racing legend Kenny Wallace and longtime hosting favorites John Roberts and Jose Castillo. Doesn't look like Jimmy Spencer is going to be back, but that's I hadn't seen him in a while. It's known for its electric atmosphere. Trackside Live brings fans closer to the action with engaging driver and celebrity interviews, interactive games, contests, and nonstop fun and laughter. And I've been to that Trackside Live several times at the races I've been to. It's a good time.
Let's see. Maybe I'll go to some of the historical information about the Speedway itself. From the first race in 1960 through the SMI era, the track came to be defined by weather, often bad. The very first race scheduled for the late 1959 was not run until the following July, and that was because of bad weather and delayed construction. So little did we know that. I didn't know that. Did you?
I did not. And it was an incomplete facility, and muddy conditions greeted the 25,000 fans that saw Fireball Roberts win that inaugural NASCAR event. You're talking going way back in history. I know I've been to a couple of the fall races in November. They can be chilly as well.
Yes, let's move up to the 1970s. Again, rain impacted the race weekends for much of the remainder of the decade, and that contributed to worsening financial condition and eventual bankruptcy in the 1970s.
Now, here's an interesting one. I found interesting anyway. Among the numerous presidents and general managers of the track in the first 30 years was Vice Chairman of NASCAR, Mike Helton, who served as the general manager in 1985 and 86. I did not know that was where he came from, his back history.
Yeah, that's very cool to know. In the most bizarre occurrence in 1993 spring race, that was postponed when the Eastern Seaboard got buried in over a foot of snow. We hope the snow doesn't arrive this week.
No, that's one of those, it occasionally does get us down here in the South, but can happen. In recent years, however, the track has been hit by hurricanes and tornadoes. The September 2011 race was set to go at 9:15 p.m. when it started raining. Based on the forecast for Monday, it was Tropical Storm Lee that would persist all day. It was ultimately postponed until Tuesday.
Wow, I haven't seen that happen in a while either. In 1990, SMI acquired the track, and since then it's undergone a complete transformation from the original in 1960s, undercapitalized speedways, to one of the most modern and fastest tracks. So that's very cool that they were able to make that transition.
You go back to the fall of 1997, the most dramatic change in the track's history was made when the original 1.5-mile symmetrical oval was remodeled into the current 1.5 quad oval, with that front stretch and back stretch being switched.
Let's move into the 2000s here. In 2013, Goodyear debuted a tire technology at AMS. The right side tire featured a multi-zone tread technology, which combined two different rubber compounds in a single tread. With the combination of the high wear abrasive surface and the high speed, Atlanta has proved to be one of the most challenging tracks for Goodyear. So we'll see what Goodyear brings this weekend. But I remember when they had that tire technology and the multi-zone tread tire.
That was one of those experiments, again, of appreciate Goodyear trying everything they can. And talking about being to the race in the fall, the season-ending race was scheduled at Atlanta from 1986 to 2001, and it became the next to last race in 2001 due to that postponement of the New Hampshire race. In 2002, at management's request, the fall race was moved back a month earlier in October in anticipation of better weather. That's one of the things Atlanta has always battled is the weather.
Yes, indeed. Okay, in 2009, the fall race was moved to the Labor Day weekend, and the track hosted the first night race beginning in 2011. The track's traditional spring race was dropped from the schedule, and from 2012 to 2020, Atlanta held one race a year, and that single event being the second race of the schedule from 2015 to 19.
But then starting in 2021, Atlanta gained a second date back, the second race run during the summer months. So again, we've talked about all the different schedule changes. If you show up and support the track, and we got great racing, which we've seen, you can get back a second date. So that was good to see Atlanta back on the schedule with the second date.
Okay. Again, I'm going to refer everybody to fanforracing.com. There's some significant events at Atlanta Motor Speedway. I'm going to try to post this up over there so that you can see all the different things that have happened from 1958 to the current year. And it's kind of interesting to read those. So watch for that to come up over at fanforracing.com. So again, we're pretty much done, I think, with the preview here, Jay, unless there's something else that you wanted to point out.
I will point out, I know we're not going to go down the full entry list, but for Atlanta, the Freight 208 NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series race this week, there's going to be 33 drivers for the 36 spots. Some highlighted notes, Michael McDowell is going to be in the 07 machine. Mentioned Kyle Busch in the number 7. The number 63 is going to be Akinori Agata. And then the number 66, Luke Fenhouse. And Fenhouse is one I like to see more of, especially at the short tracks.
Yes, it's going to be fun to see him race.
And that's where I think, they used to talk about how much experience you could get by running the different series. It's gotten to be where there's enough differences. Obviously, any seat time, track time at any track is good, but it's not as beneficial as it used to be, where you could really transfer something directly from one series to the other.
All right. Anything else you want to mention?
No, I think that about covers it for the Craftsman Truck Series. Again, super excited. We'll see how the rookie battle goes. We're already looking at drivers getting wins. Like I said, Corey Heim has been awarded the victory at this point. Wait and see how the appeal from Henderson Motorsports with driver Parker Kligerman goes. But expect Corey Heim to win again at some point and be in playoff contention. One of the strongest drivers we have seen when it comes to truck series. If you look at especially the short amount of time he's been in the truck series, I believe this is his 4th year. It might only be his 3rd, but putting up some impressive stats as far as it goes.
That's so true. And I can't wait to see what happens with his appeal tomorrow. I do want to tell you, do watch for more from us. We will have an Xfinity Series review as well as a preview for the Cup Series coming up. So I think, Jay, we're doing the Trucks and Xfinity today and Trucks and Cup on Friday.
Sounds good, and we'll do the Xfinity series here in a little bit. And I know Sharon works extremely hard to get them edited and processed and out as soon as she can. So Sharon, appreciate that.
Well, thank you. And I appreciate you being here, Jay, to do this with me. It's always a lot more fun when you have somebody else with you. Also, a reminder to like and subscribe. The likes are really important, especially for each individual episode that comes out. If you like what we're providing here, let us know that you like it by hitting the thumbs up button and letting us know that you like what we're doing. If you have suggestions or would like to see something different, feel free to do that as well. We're open, but we are trying to make sure that you're well informed before you watch those races. And if you want to be notified when we have new videos come out, hit the bell on the episode and it'll notify you when the new videos do come out.
Appreciate y'all tuning in, and we'll see you on the Xfinity side.
Okay. Thanks, everybody. We'll see you. I do want to let you know, we do appreciate you tuning in. And I want to say thanks to everybody for tuning in to Fan for Racing Radio. So thank you so much. Take care and have a good day.